I think this is a terrific country. I really believe that this country can do anything it wants to do. And I hope it wants to do the right thing. I really believe it can do anything it wants to do, good or bad. And we must make sure that it's good. There's never been anything like this. This is the miracle of humanity, the United States. This society, this social structure of ours that's been able to go through the changes of the last 10 years has proven itself to be strong.
Hubert Humphrey came home to Minnesota. The Minnesota that had always been so much a part of him. For 20 years, his voice had been heard in the councils of the world. Now he was home again, on the land and with the people who had nurtured his belief in America's greatness, almost from the moment of his birth. Mayor of Minneapolis.
Lots of people talk about how you can just stamp out crime. You literally take your life in your hands when you do that, and we did that. I was young. I made up my mind that I was going to do something about it.
And we on the police department had just about given up hope of ever having a mayor who would have the guts and the honesty to clean up that situation. So when young Humphrey came along, I think he was 30, 31, 2 years old, something like that. We went to work, and we closed Minneapolis tight. And I liked the cut of his jib.
I knew that if I didn't do something about it, I'd most likely end up being just a failure as a mayor and never get any place. And what's more is I'd always had to work very hard, and I saw no reason that somebody should be able to cheat their way into wealth.
Now, anyone who thinks that it doesn't take guts and it doesn't take honesty to smash a multi-million-dollar racket in a large city had better guess again. Humphrey had the guts and he had the honesty.
I think the first duty of an elected official is to give people protection, honest protection of life and property. I believe that's where you start. But I didn't want my city to be known just for its police department. I wanted it known for its schools and its parks and for its new buildings and for its jobs and for what we did for people.
(1948), United States Senator.
What you have to do in the legislative chambers and in the governmental process is to take a good idea, shape it, be willing to reshape it, but hold the idea and then fight for it.
The idea was fermenting up here, and then to see it really come into fruition and be an integral part of our country is an exciting thing to do in your lifetime.
(1964), Vice President of the United States.
I am a sentimentalist. I'm often accused of it. I'm a sentimentalist about this republic, about this country, about what it has meant to me. A child of the Depression, a man born in the plains of humble parentage, and yet I can stand before you as a candidate.
This guy feels these things in his guts. When he speaks out about the problems of the poor, or the problem of the guy out on the land, the farmer on the land, he's talking from memories that are very vivid. The lessons that we learned from the Depression in the 1930s will still serve us well, and Hubert Humphrey learned those lessons out here in the in the school of hardship.
It's a wonderful thing to live in a country that offers such opportunity. But, my friends, it hasn't offered that same opportunity to everybody. And what Lincoln was trying to teach us was that we must open the gates of opportunity. That it wasn't good enough just to have some of us who had a chance. That every man must have a chance. I think the best foreign policy that this country will ever have is the demonstration of a domestic policy of social justice, of concern and of care for its people here, to show that we know how to get something done. The worst kind of hypocrisy is to promise great things to other people when you can't even do little things for your own people. It's deception with compound interest.
Home again, Hubert Humphrey plunged into the kind of work he'd always loved.
I come back to learn and to have my mind, and this time my mind and my senses, stretched once again by the students and the faculty with whom I will be associated. This country has never produced a finer generation of young people.
Time for experiencing again the joys of the outdoors, for relaxing moments with old friends.
First gun I ever had was a 410. I'll never forget the first time.
Over and under? No.
No, just a double barrel 410. Mm-hmm. And my father gave it to me for Christmas. And I went out hunting with a group of older fellows. I was just a kid, you know. And went duck hunting. With a 410? With a 410, you know. It's optimism. Yeah, but you know, optimism. There was a flock of ducks going by, and there was fellows with 10 gauge and 12, and we used to have old 10 gauge, you know, 12 gauge gun, and the ducks went by, and one duck dropped, and I hollered, I got him. Haven't quit, have I, Bob? Just not got the right hook on there. There's something wrong. No, what we may do is just get a drop line. I got a mess here. When you have granddaughters, fellows, and they all go out fishing at the same time, you're lucky if you got anything left. But it's all worth it.
Ankles together and toes pointed. Very good. Careful. After that.
It is all worth it for Hubert Humphrey. His wife, Muriel, his children, and his grandchildren are really what life's about.
Your blanket is on you. Your blanket is in the bedroom. You want to go get dressed? Is that right? How about a kiss on my nose? Okay, that's what I've got right up there. Honey? Wait a minute, Brian.
Your grandpa show you what's going. See, if you get out here together, the two of you, then it goes faster and higher. Didn't you know that? See? Let's try it together. Try it once together, huh?
And then she'll get out.
Then she'll get off. That's the idea. That's it.
And get out.
You have to try it together.
No, compromise.
That's right.
Now what?
Look at that. Not too high now.
Not too high.
That's good.
When Hubert Humphrey came home to Minnesota, he was returning to more leisure time and to the streams, the woodlands, the lakes, the land that he loved so well. But most of all, he was returning to old friends and neighbors that he could talk everyday talk with.
There's old Joe Reardon's place. Hey, I got to see how Joe is. He fixes up everything around here for us. Hey, Joe! How you doing?
Good afternoon, sir.
Well, you got everything fixed up around here?
Oh, yeah, we're getting there.
Busy?
Oh, yes.
Wonderful. Keep the neighbors happy. No, I just said you can fix anything.
Thank you.
You bet you sure can.
No, we're,
The lake's good this year, isn't it?
fine. I think we'll get rid of a week pretty soon now. We'll be fine.
The world of Hubert Humphrey has changed over the years, and it will change even more. For Humphrey is convinced that man, with foresight, can master his own destiny.
All of my thinking, I say the year 2000. I want to live that long. I really do, just to see what's going to happen. I'll be 88 or 89 years old in the year 2000. I think I can make it. And I want to be able to, I want to keep in mind that everything that I do as a public official, whatever capacity, will affect the lives of people who live at the year 2000. And the majority of the Americans that we're talking to today that are living at this very moment will be alive in the year 2000. So I'm a 2000-year man. I'm not going to be thinking about, everybody wants to argue about what we did in 1966. I can't do one damn thing about that. That's gone. There's nothing that you can do about it except to get into a fight. It's a good debating point. You can always debate about what you should have done. This should have club. It's got more members than almost the human race. Should have done this, should have done that. And the could have club. I could have done this and I could have done that. The question is, what are you going to do? And what are you doing now? I think if we can get people to project themselves and their thinking, their plans, their hopes, down the line, down that post, down in, to the next decade, that's what's going to make the difference in this country. I'm a sentimentalist about this republic, about this country, about what it has meant to me, a child of the Depression, a man born in the plains of humble parentage, and yet I can stand before you as a candidate.
The lessons that we learn will still serve us well, and Hubert Humphrey learned those lessons out here in the school of hardship.
The question is, what are you going to do? And what are you doing now? I think if we can get people to project themselves and their thinking, their plans, their hopes to the next decade, that's what's going to make the difference in this country.
Now, anyone who thinks that it doesn't take guts and it doesn't take honesty to smash a multi-million-dollar racket in a large city had better guess again. Humphrey had the guts and he had the honesty.
The worst kind of hypocrisy is to promise great things to other people when you can't even do little things for your own people. It's deception with compound interest.
The idea was fermenting up here, and then to see it come into fruition and be an integral part of our country is an exciting thing to do in your lifetime.
This society, this social structure of ours that's been able to go through the changes of the last 10 years has proven itself to be strong. There's never been anything like this. This is the miracle of humanity, the United States.